Hi, I'm Dani, and today Great.com talks with Marcia Maeda, who is the director of the Los Angeles County Animal Care. If you haven't heard about them, the foundation helps to support the Los Angeles County Department of Animal Care and Control through fundraising for spay and neuter programs, pet adoptions, public education, and animal welfare. If you're new here to this podcast, please press subscribe on YouTube or in your podcast app, because today we learn about the importance of socially conscious animal sheltering. Hi, Marcia. Welcome to our podcast.
Thank you for having us.
It's our pleasure. Well, I'd like to begin understanding a bit more about the context that you're working with, right? You have been the director of the LA County Department of Animal Care and Control for the past 20 years. You said to me that you've been working on the area for over 35 years, right? So
right.
Could you give us some context of the situation for animals welfare in the county right now?
Sure, thank you. Los Angeles County is a very large county, and our department is the largest animal care and control agency in the United States. We operate 7 animal care centers throughout the county, and we serve about 3.5 million pet owners or residents. We take in approximately 30,000 animals a year, and we are here, we're a full service to provide sheltering, care, and support to animals and pet owners.
That's incredible. It's a huge area to cover, right?
Yes, it's a large area. We cover about 3,800 square miles.
Wow, this is pretty impressive. And do you work with not just pets, right? I mean, we're not just talking about like dogs and cats, right?
That's right. We get all sorts of other pets and also farm animals and wildlife as well. There's a lot of wildlife in Los Angeles County, hawks and owls, raccoons, opossums, even bears and mountain lions that we actually assist Fish and Wildlife with, California Department of Fish and Wildlife. But we can get all sorts of other animals. We had a case in 2017 where a person was housing more than 100 venomous reptiles in his home, including cobras and puff adders, baboon vipers, and many others. And we had to remove those animals for public safety.
Wow. I cannot imagine someone just maybe raising this such a dangerous animals with them. It's complicated, right?
It was very scary.
Wow, I imagine. And how has the DACC has been working to solve the issues you've been finding?
I'm sorry?
And how has the DACC been working so far to help the animals and help human beings as well to deal with those issues?
Right. Well, there's a lot of need in Los Angeles County for pet owners. And what we've been doing is trying to provide resources for pet owners who are having difficulty through financial hardships or other obstacles so they can keep their pets. Because the last thing we want is for them to have to surrender their pet to one of our animal care centers if they truly do want to be able to keep it, but they just can't afford to. So we have a CARES voucher program that the foundation pays for completely through donations from the public or grants. And what this does is provide vouchers to assist pet owners who are experiencing temporary difficulty with keeping their animals, providing services. About 80% of these are veterinary needs, where the animal might have a veterinary condition, medical condition like an infected ear, or it needs a mass removed, or it needs a dental cleaning and tooth extraction. All of these are really important medical services that the animals must have for their own safety and pain relief. And if people can't afford to do that, sometimes they say, well, the only option I can think of is to bring it to the animal care center because it'll get treatment. But I hate to say goodbye to my beloved animal. So this way they don't have to. The foundation can provide this voucher that it has a value up to $500. Sometimes these expenses exceed $500 and the owner can pay the difference. They just can't pay the full bill. Sometimes they cover it completely. So we're really thrilled to be able to provide this resource because it keeps pets and their families together. The pets with families that the pet loves and wants to stay with. So it's a win-win for everybody.
Absolutely. I love the idea. And as a dog owner myself, I know how costly it can be. It's really hard.
Sure.
It's absolutely an issue sometimes. And I think when we talk about keeping your pet, it's like a side of the problem that we might have when thinking of stray animals, for instance, because we also have the side of overbreeding,
Right.
right? Yeah. Does the DACC has any projects or any programs or services that could cover that issue?
Yes, actually, the foundation has just begun an endowment that was funded by the estate of a woman who passed away last year, and she left her estate to the foundation through her will. And because of her generosity, we were able to set up this endowment to provide low-cost spay neuter services for pet owners in Los Angeles County. So we're really thrilled to be able to do that because preventing the births of unwanted animals is critical to reducing or ending euthanasia of unwanted animals. So by providing this spay neuter service, we'll be able to reduce euthanasia. And it's all through the generosity of this woman. Her name was Diane Baranian, who left her estate to the foundation. So we're really grateful for that. And we encourage people to donate through their will or bequests to the foundation. It's called planned giving. And it's an opportunity to leave a legacy size gift to the foundation so it can help animals for years and years to come.
It's really, I think it's very interesting to learn about that option because I don't think most people know about it, about the possibility of leaving it to an organization, right? So
Right.
thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, thank you.
Also, one thing that really caught my eye when I was doing my research about you was that the fact that you work with a philosophy that, according to your website, it's one of the very few, or maybe the only one, only Department of Animal Care that works with that is socially conscious animal sheltering. I would like to learn more about it. Could you just please explain it to us a bit more, and what does it encompass exactly?
Sure. We adopted socially conscious animal sheltering as our operating philosophy a few years ago. And this was really in response to a new thought of how animal shelters and animal care agencies should be partnering with the communities. And what we want to do is make sure that the decisions and policies that we're making are reflective of the needs of the community. And of course, there's a number of ways that could happen. One is that we want to make sure that the animals that come to us, that their medical and behavioral needs are addressed, that they get the right behavior and enrichment, they get the right medical care if there's anything, if they're sick or if they're injured, that those concerns are treated. We want to make sure that every adoptable animal has a home to go to. So we do a great deal of outreach and networking to place animals either through private parties or animal rescue groups, or even transports to other locations that have a shortage of animals, other animal shelters in other jurisdictions. So we do our very best to get every animal out of here that's healthy and behaviorally sound, get them into new homes. We want to make sure our policies reflect the needs of the community, that we're mindful of what our residents and pet owners want to see from an animal shelter. We're transparent in our policies and practices and openly engage with residents about their needs.
Oh, that's impressive. And I wouldn't think of that in those terms. I think it's very broad and very necessary, especially considering the needs of the community, right?
Right. Yeah. And those have changed dramatically in the last few years, especially with the pandemic. So we are always scanning the environment and the horizon to see what changes, if any, we need to make to be as accommodating and resourceful for the residents and the community as we can be.
Awesome. And talking about the pandemic, I was very interested to know if you have noticed any impact of the pandemic on whether on adoption numbers or maybe people giving back their puppies to the shelters. So what have you seen?
Actually, the pandemic has been a real game changer for animal welfare in general. And what I say about my department will be true for other agencies as well. when the pandemic started, you probably know many people started adopting because now they're at home and they have the time to bring a new pet into their home, housebreak it, begin the training, and all those sorts of things that they didn't have time to do before. So they hadn't adopted before, although they wanted to. And also, we really increased our fostering. We have wonderful volunteers that foster animals for us. So they're not going to be the permanent owner, but they take in either animals that are sick or injured and need to recover in a quiet, calm environment, or many times, in most cases, underage kittens, or sometimes puppies that are not yet old enough to be placed into a home. They have to be bottle fed and really cared for. So the volunteers do that, the foster volunteers, and that really expanded during COVID because people, again, were at home and they were able to devote more time to do that. We have not seen people returning the pets that they adopted during COVID. Where we see people needing to surrender their pets are the examples that I gave you earlier, where they're having financial hardships. And we have that CARES voucher where we can help really reduce those numbers.
Oh, that's pretty impressive. It's a reality that we have seen here in Brazil
Right.
as well. Yeah, I've got my puppy
Right.
during
We
the
did
pandemic,
too.
right? Yeah, awesome.
Right.
I think it's a global thing, right? And that's great.
Uh-huh.
Awesome to hear. And now talking about the owners, right? The human beings in this
Uh-huh.
issue. When whoever is facing problems with whether with maintaining their dogs or their cats, whatever, or maybe with dangerous animals that they might encounter, how can they reach out to the department to seek for help?
Well, we have a helpline that's staffed by registered veterinary technicians and also trained staff. The registered vet techs assist with the medical questions. They're like a nurse, an animal nurse. But we do also give advice about training and behavior. Sometimes people are thinking they need to just get rid of this animal because it just keeps digging holes in their yard or scratching their furniture or what have you. And they just haven't been given the information they need to know how to correct that behavior. So we have staff that are trained in animal behavior that can coach them. We can also refer them to training resources so they can fix the problem. And again, they don't want to surrender their pet really. They're just at their wits' end about they can't continue to have this bad behavior. So we help them with that. And then also there's some people who just truly can't keep the pet any longer. Perhaps there is a death in the family or they're moving or for whatever reason, they can't keep it. And in those cases, we can refer them to animal rescue groups. And we also started a new program on our website through Facebook called Home to Home, which allows people to place their pets with people who are looking for pets. They kind of connect on social media instead of coming in, bringing the animal into the care center, which is ideal for the animal because coming into a care center, although we do provide really good care, it's still scary for the animal. It's a strange place. There's barking animals and so forth. And it's so much less stressful for them to be able to just go from one home to another that's been selected for them. They've met, they've agreed it's a good match, and then they can go to their new family.
Absolutely. And do you receive also cases of animal being mistreated or maybe violence towards animals in there?
We do. And our department has a major cases unit that is devoted to criminal animal abuse and neglect. And they handle hundreds of cases every year. And those that some minor cases of neglect can be fixed with education and training of the people because they don't know better. But those that are really egregious or intentional, we do file criminal charges. And the Animal Care Foundation supports this action by providing training and resources to our investigators so they can continue and protect the animals out in the community.
Great. That's great to hear. Changing a bit of conversation, are you facing any sort of challenge right now to keep doing the work, doing what you've been doing so far?
Well, I think our biggest challenge is resources. And that's why the foundation is so important to us because the county, Los Angeles County, has a great deal of demands on very limited resources. And the Department of Animal Care and Control is one of 38 county departments. So we compete with other departments for funding from the government. So, and with very compelling needs in other departments: child protection, senior citizens, public safety, beaches, libraries, parks. The county does a lot. Public health, which is so important, especially during these times. So the department competes for those resources from the government. And that's why the foundation is so important, because it can provide through its fundraising revenue that we just can't get from the county. And they've done so much to improve the care of the animals at our animal care centers. Like, they provide a Dreams Come True fund, which provides special medical treatment for animals that come in that are usually hit by a car or with a severe injury, and it may be beyond the resources of what our veterinarians can treat at the care centers. So we send these animals to private practice veterinarians who do the surgeries, and the foundation will pay up to $2,500 to go towards that surgery. And the private veterinarians often reduce their fees for us because it's a compelling cause and they love animals and want to help. So we save thousands of animals through that program. The foundation also has bought a lot of support vehicles and equipment and supplies for emergency response to wildfires and mudslides. You've probably seen the fires that go on in Southern California and how devastating they are. And we evacuate hundreds of animals each time, many times a year, and we provide temporary sheltering for them while they're evacuated. So the foundation has bought a mobile medical unit, which can provide it's like an ambulance, provide emergency medical care for animals in the field that need treatment from burns or smoke inhalation or injuries. They bought small animal trailers that are heated and have air conditioning and contained power. And we can house between 40 and 60 dogs and cats in each of these trailers. And they're located next to Red Cross shelters. So when the pet owners are evacuated and staying at the Red Cross shelters, they can have their animals with them. And our staff, maintain the trailers and feed and care for the animals, so they're always cared for. But many people won't evacuate if they can't bring their animals with them. So it exposes them to danger as well. This way, everybody's safe. And the foundation has also bought horse and livestock trailers and trucks and lots of equipment to support our actions in that area. They also have a great program called Grooming Gives Hope. This is for dogs, especially that come in that are severely matted. And we've seen dogs that are so matted that they've actually had to have legs amputated because the mats have cut off the circulation to their legs. So, and they have all sorts of other underlying health conditions. And Grooming Gives Hope pays for professional groomers to groom these and other just badly matted animals, so they can, so our veterinary staff can look at them and make sure they're healthy or treat any underlying conditions and make them adoptable. When these animals come in, they're dull and they're depressed and they're in pain. They can hardly walk right. And after a couple hours of this grooming, they are like a different animal. They are bright and alert and jumping and happy. And that's what people want to adopt. So it's, a really terrific program that we offer there. And of course, the spaying and neutering program is really important, and we're expanding on that as much as we can.
Wow, it's a really intense sort of programs, and it's very broad, right? I think I love hearing, because it sounds very sensitive, not just towards the dogs or other animals, but also understanding the circumstances and, thinking of well-being in a broader sense. It's really impressive.
Right. One of the things that the foundation has also done is really invest in animal behavior and enrichment programs. And this is really important because, sure, we give them good food, we keep them clean, we have medicine, but other than that, they still need a lot of enrichment. So the foundation has spent thousands and thousands of dollars putting in dog play yards where we can take groups of dogs out together and they run and they play. And we get a much better idea of their personality and what kind of home they would be best suited for. They've built patios, which are patios for cats, so that cats can go outdoors, but they're safe and protected. They put portals between cat cages, which are openings that allows a cat to actually use 2 cat cages, so it doubles the size of the room that they have, and lots of toys and other sorts of things for dogs and cats, and also horses and livestock too. They have built barns for the horses with cooling and misting systems and fly repellent systems. We get a lot of horses in our care centers and other livestock as well. So they have, the foundation has really expanded and enriched the behavior and enrichment and animal care opportunities for the animals that come into the care centers.
Oh, that's amazing. And I think my final question is quite logical, but how can people help?
Oh,
Keep all that
donations.
Going.
Yeah. Yes. This is all possible because of donations. And we have our website, which is probably the easiest way to do that, which is www.lacountyanimal's.org. And people can make a one-time gift. They can become a monthly donor. People can have fundraisers on Facebook if it's their birthday. And a lot of times people have a fundraiser for their favorite charity. Of course, we've talked about planned giving and remembering the foundation in their will and estate planning. And other opportunities, just encouraging their friends to donate, just spread the word about the foundation and the good work it's doing and the thousands of animals it helps every year.
Well, that's incredible. Really, people have no reasons why not to help.
Right. In fact, people can even donate their cars. We have a car donation program, or boats or RVs or motorcycles, any sort of vehicle, and all that information's on our website as well.
Wow, that's impressive. Please, people, go there and check it out.
Right.
Help out. Well, thank you so much for talking to us today, Marcia. This has been a great talk.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for having us.
Our pleasure. And for you listening, also, thank you so very much. And if you enjoyed this episode, please press subscribe on YouTube or in your podcast app. That will show the algorithms that this is an important conversation so more people can learn more about the importance of socially conscious animal sheltering. See you on the next episode.